What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how I automated my B2B sales cold outreach using nothing but Claude Code. It actually finds my ideal prospect, it scrapes a lead list, and then actually opens my Chrome browser for me, opens up my LinkedIn, finds the person, sends a request, adds a note, and it can even follow up for me if I wanted to, okay? So I'm going to show you the exact system which I use that you can start using today and start to generate free leads for you on autopilot on LinkedIn. Let's get started. Gotta go to this website here called Apify. They have a bunch of different scrapers. The one that we're going to want to use today is called a LinkedIn scraper. The next thing you're going to need after Apify is this Claude Cowork extension, okay? You're just going to want to search here Claude for Chrome. It's going to be the first one that pops up. So Claude for Chrome Web Store, and then you can just go ahead and add that, and that's how you're going to get this extension right here, okay? So what you're going to want to do is add your connectors, okay? So connectors that you want to add in this instance is Apify. So you want to enable the Apify MCP server, okay? You just toggle that on Apify. If you don't have it, you have to go browse connectors, search Apify, just like that. Okay, add that just like that. And you're going to want to go to your settings. You're going to want to go to your API integrations, and then you can just go ahead and grab that personal API token. Once you have that copy, go back to your Claude Cowork or your Claude and just paste it here into the API token, okay? Leave that as default, save that, and it's going to actually give you all of these permissions and just keep them as default. You don't need to change anything there, okay? First thing we want to do, like I said always before, is to just define the offer, right? We need to know what we're going to sell and to who we're going to sell it to. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense, okay? A lot of people, they try to go ahead and they try to just make up any kind of random offer, like what they like to do, what they want to do. You know, they like cooking, so they want to open up a restaurant, or they want to build stuff that they want to build for themselves. That could work sometimes, but really you want to look at what your customers, what problems do they already have, and build a solution for that. Now, the number one offer that most businesses are going to want are leads, okay? Every business wants more leads through the door. They might not want your, fancy AI receptionist, but they will want leads, okay? So that's what you have to consider when you're selling to people. What do they want? What's the thing that they're going to pay the most for? So you want to position it in a way where it's actually increasing the revenue of the business, whether it be through marketing, whether it be through sales, always tied back to the outcome, so that if you do have, some fancy AI system, tell the business owner how that AI system can actually grow their revenue, okay? If you have some kind of fancy sales team, tell them how it's going to improve their sales. Or if you have some kind of fancy marketing strategy, let them know how that marketing strategy is going to grow their business, grow their brand, and bring them more traffic, okay? And so for this offer, for our make-believe offer, today's demonstration, let's just say we're offering some kind of AI lead generation services, okay? So now we want to find who is the ICP to our offer. You might say lead generation for lawyers, but still too broad, right? What kind of lead generation do lawyers need? Well, they might need, personal injury cases, for example, and a real estate agent. They don't want just leads. They want, motivated seller leads, stuff like that. So that's how you want to kind of position your offer to fit the ICP. Or it could be for companies, right? You may be targeting property management companies. You wouldn't just say leads for property management companies. You would say something like vacation home owners, right? And you may approach a property management company and say, hey, look, I can bring you vacation home owner leads. And that's something that specific ICP is actually going to be interested in buying, okay? This is going to save you a lot of time, because you're not going to just be throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it sticks, okay? Don't get me wrong. Like when I first started, I was just hustling. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, yo, buy my website, Like that's what I was doing on LinkedIn. I was just shooting messages like 50 per day, 100 per day. Yo, buy my website, buy my website. I just knew like if I could just find like real estate agents and just build them a website, I could make money, right? So you might not like do all of this right now from the start, but I highly recommend it, because it's going to save you a lot of trial and error, because you're going to start to find out like certain people don't actually want the things that you want to sell them, okay? You want to actually sell them things like, for example, a website. You can make a website for 20 bucks, it's not really something that people are really dying to have, but they might be dying to have leads, okay? So that's why it's so important to figure out your offer first, and then find the ICP who actually wants that offer. Like I always say, it's a volume game, so you're going to have to send out hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions until you get enough volume of people who are actually interested. Not everybody is going to be interested, okay? That's just how the game goes. Some people are going to be in market for actually wanting lead generation services. So don't think that you're pestering anybody, because there is going to be a handful of people who actually want you to outreach to them and message them, and who are actually looking for what you're trying to buy. Maybe 90% are not, but they can just ignore it and move on with their day. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect you. In this business, or in business in general, you have to have an iron mind, okay? So you can get rejected 9 times, you could get rejected 900 times, but it just takes that one person to say yes, and now you got yourself, a $5,000 deal, potentially even more if you're doing on a paper lead, or if you're doing like on a volume basis where you're actually selling to the brokerage, okay? All right, y'all. So as you can see, it actually finished doing the scraping. So I just asked it to do 10 for now, but you could do 100 or 1,000, however many you want, as long as you pay for the leads or for the scraping. What I'll tell you is that because there is a 200 connection request on LinkedIn, this is more of like a slow and steady strategy, okay? So you're not gonna like force a bunch of connection requests just in a week, but you will slowly grow your LinkedIn over time. And I've seen people do this. I've known people who've been doing this for like 2, 3, 5 years even, and they've just been growing their network slowly by 200 every week, probably until like the 10,000s by now. So it's almost like an asset because now you have that network with you, and even in a year or even in 2 years, you have, like, let's say all of those real estate agents in Dallas or all of your other ICPs, you have them as connection requests in your network, and those are people that you can market to in the future. And that's why this is a very good slow and steady organic strategy, because it really grows your brand over time. So like you see, it's asking me, ready to start the LinkedIn outreach? Let's say yes. All we gotta do is say yes. It's just gonna start up. I mean, this stuff is amazing, guys. It's gonna run for you completely automatically. Obviously right now we're doing a lot of manual work, but in the future we can just completely automate this. So it just goes ahead, grabs our list, goes to LinkedIn, connects with people, does everything in the background automatically. And I can show you how to do that, because that one's a little more of a custom solution. So I'm really gonna have to probably work with you a bit to figure out what's your current system, and then we can actually create custom solutions for you. So this would be like a much more advanced kind of automation. What I'm showing you right now is kind of more of like a basic front-end automation, but really if you want to do this at scale where you're actually doing like 10,000 requests per day, I can actually help you do that. I have actually done strategies like that before. It's much more advanced, and we'll love to talk more about that, but for now this is what you can do by yourself. So as you can see, it's actually capturing the web page. It figured out that the connection request is actually under this 3 dots menu, and now it should go ahead and start the invitation. So there it is. It just spit up some random message. Now I'll give you one more tip right now. What I would say is that, can you make the message one-liner, quick, lowercase, and no more than a single sentence? So I'm gonna go ahead and tell it that, and let's see, show me an example before we start the next lead. So now it's going to go to the next person, and now it's going to consider the instructions that I just gave it, where we want the messages to be more like human-like, right? We don't want like this weird ass, like it's just weird, bro. Like these messages are weird that most people are using. That's why you came to me, right? Because I'm gonna give you the real game, which is behind 33 million cold outreach messages, okay? So I can tell you what actually works, and it's not these like crazy, weird, punchy things. It's gonna be like super casual. Like when you text a friend, you're like, what are you doing? Like WYD, right? Like WYD. That's how you text your friend. So when you text people, you gotta text them the same way. Okay, it can't be like, I love how you increase shareholder value. Like, no, bro, like you can't do that. Obviously it's a bot. So you don't want to come off as a bot. You don't want to come off as an NPC. You want to come off as a real authentic human. And the way you can do that is by actually sending messages that sound like real human. Like real humans, how they talk. It's not like, oh, hey, wow, like that. I mean, maybe some people do, but a lot of people are just NPCs. So I don't want my messages to come off like that. I want my messages to look real and authentic and legit, because I am an authentic person. Okay, so I want my messages to come off that same way. Let's show you that. Reppin' Abby Holiday in Dallas is no small thing. Sounds good with me, man. I mean, it's much more normal than the other one, so I would be good with that. Okay, so that's a quick little tip there for you on about how to craft your outreach messages. And last but not least, where are we going to push the replies to? Now, when somebody actually replies, that's not enough. We actually want to drive them to take an action. And in this case, or the case which I run with all my clients, is the book a call funnel, the high ticket book a call funnel, where you send the connection request, conversation starts. Once they're interested, you're going to book a call with them either through a booking link or by suggesting some open times. Some people say that it's better to suggest the open times because, sending a booking link is rude, but some people just send a booking link, right? It's up to you to figure out what works for you, but that's how you're going to do it. And once you confirm that time, then on the call, that's when you're going to actually have your chance to actually demo, actually do your pitch. And if they're interested, you can go ahead and close the deal there and move forward. So that's how you do it, guys. If you need any help with this, go ahead and book a call with me and I will actually help you implement this myself.